Dyned. In this section, we'll look at line graphs.
Please choose the part you wish to study.
This first example shows how auto sales at Union Motors have changed since 1960. In 1960, sales were about 500,000 units. From 1960, sales declined to a low of around 300,000 in 1965. From 1965, sales increased steadily until they reached a high of around 900,000 in 1974. Then, because of increasing imports, sales began a long decline to a low of around 500,000 units. Since 1980, sales have stopped their decline and have remained fairly steady.
True or false?
Sales were around 800,000 units in 1975.
Yes, that's right.
Now let's look at sales at Federal Motors. In 1960, sales were about 900,000 units. They rose to around 1 million in '65, and then they began a long decline. In the 15-year period from '65 to '80, sales dropped about 30% to around 700,000 units. From '80 to '85, sales remained fairly flat, and then they began to rise. Since '85, sales have been improving, and the company is regaining market share.
True or false? Sales were around 800,000 units in 1975.
That's right.
In 1965, sales at Federal Motors were more than triple the sales at Union. In 1973, sales at Union Motors surpassed sales at Federal Motors for the first time. Sales at Federal were higher than Union except for the 5-year period from '73 through '78. When did sales at Union first surpass sales at Federal?
That's right.
In 1973, sales at Union Motors surpassed sales at Federal Motors for the first time.
This line graph shows how the voter approval rating for a city government has changed during the past 12 months. Note that the approval rating was at its highest during the first 3 months and its lowest in month 8.
When did the approval rating reach 50%?
That's right.
It reached 50% in month 5.
This graph shows the rate of population growth in several countries. It also shows the literacy rate in each of the countries. The adult literacy rate is the percentage of adults who can read and write. The axis on the left gives the percentage growth rate, and the axis on the right gives the literacy rate. For example, the percentage annual growth rate of Brazil is about 1.4%. Its literacy rate is 0.83 or 83%. For these countries, the graph suggests that countries with a higher literacy rate have a lower rate of population growth.
About what is Vietnam's literacy rate?
Yes, that's right.
It's almost 90%.